You are now tuned into a brand new episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K Sap. Well, today, guys, we got to talk about it, man. Mel Kiper and Phil Yates was doing their mock draft for 2026. And like I've told you guys, a lot of people want to evaluate Shedeur Sanders on what he's going to do over these last couple games to see if he's going to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns in 2026. But I've told you guys, overall, this is just a bad Cleveland Browns football team. You got your quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. You just need to build around them. And now Mel Kiper and Phil Yates dropped a bombshell today. But we're going to talk about it right after this. Well, guys, man, I'm here to tell you, man. Mel Kiper has been trying to tell you guys for the longest about Shedeur Sanders and what you got in Shedeur Sanders. And he believes that Shedeur Sanders should be the franchise quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Now, we all know Shedeur Sanders in 4 starts. He's going 1-3. He has set a record in his first start to be the first rookie quarterback in over 30 years to win a game for the Cleveland Browns. And then what he did against the Tennessee Titans, where inside the Super Bowl era, he's the only other quarterback rookie outside of Joe Burrows to pass for over 360 yards, have 3 throwing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. And he's in elite company, and another achievement has Aaron Rodgers' name attached to it as well. Now, everybody wants to evaluate Shedeur Sanders over these last couple games and see what he can bring to the table. And a lot of people going out there watching Shedeur from last week when he played against the Chicago Bears, where he had the 3 picks, the 5 sacks, running for his life. Even like I told you guys, even on the passes that Shedeur Sanders completed, he was still getting knocked in the face. And that goes to tell you that this offensive line, that the Cleveland Browns, the makeshift offensive line, because all their main guys in and out of the lineup, it's just diabolical right now. Even when Dylan Gabriel was in there, they had the offensive line, but you saw the quarterback awareness and the quarterback, what Dylan Gabriel was showing. That's not going to win you ball games. Even with a good offensive line, Dylan Gabriel's reluctancy to get the ball down the field, everything is just roll out in a quick throw. That's not going to work. A lot of missed throws at the feet, a lot of overthrown balls. At least with Shedeur Sanders, he pushes the ball down the field. I think he's found his favorite target in Isaiah Bond. He has hit Isaiah Bond with 3 deep balls since he has became the starter, and they all have went over 50 yards. So Shedeur Sanders got the arm strength and the arm talent to get the ball down the field, even in inclement weather. But you got to take a look at every pass that Shedeur throws. He's still under pressure. He got uncanny escapability. He can get outside the pocket. He can scramble. Like a lot of people said that he was not mobile enough to get outside the pocket, but he's shown us that. Mel Kiper has already went on record in telling people that Shedeur Sanders should have been the number 1 pick in the 2025 draft. Now, Phil Yates and Mel Kiper was doing their mock draft, and they dropped a bombshell audio, and it's got the haters reeling right now because a lot of people think that Shedeur Sanders don't belong in the NFL. A lot of haters say he's trash. A lot of haters are wait for Shedeur Sanders to have a game like he had against the Chicago Bears to come out of the woodwork and slander his name. But Mel Kiper is standing 10 toes down. And just like Mel Kiper said, and I've been telling you guys, it's not on Shedeur. This football team is bad. There's other places that they need help. They need to upgrade the offensive line. They need to upgrade the wide receiver. And everything that Mel Kiper said, I've been telling you guys. But before we get off into that, we partnered up with Underdog Fantasy, and this is a word from our sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is the best way to play fantasy sports. Let me tell you about the easiest way to get in on some WNBA and NBA action. Find your player, pick higher or lower, win you some extra cash. Pick between 2 to 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry. Get every pick right and win some serious cash. Use my promo code SBD23 and receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Now that it's football time, follow Simply Ball Dropping as I share my picks. Like I said, pick your player, choose your amount, win money. Make picks, win cash. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for the partnership with us, and thank you for using promo code SBD23 on Underdog Fantasy.
Well, guys, with that being said, let's take a listen to what Phil Yates and also Mel Kiper had to say surrounding around Shedeur Sanders.
Kyle Rawson, who tweets at us the question, will 2 Buckeyes go in the top 5? Well, Kyle, I'm glad you asked. With the number 4 pick in the 2026 Field Yates Mock Draft 2.0, the Cleveland Browns select Carnell Tate, wide receiver, The Ohio State University.
Yeah, Greeny, we got to fill our annual first-round wide receiver quota from Ohio State, right? We do that with Carnell Tate, who's had an excellent season this year, stepping into a larger role with Emeka Egbuka now playing in the NFL. I had some different thoughts about which direction do I go here at number 4 for the Browns. I would have loved an offensive tackle if there was one that I thought merited number 4 overall consideration. I go to Tate, though, who I think has not just a big ceiling, but also a high floor as a prospect as well. He's got very good size, listed at 6'3", 190 pounds, terrific route runner. He's got an amazing catch. He has a total of 0 drops this year, does Carnell Tate. He is the next product of whether you want to call it Brian Hartline's mad scientist lab. He now the South Florida coach, but the longtime Ohio State wide receiver coach and this year offensive coordinator as well. Just the next man up. He plays both on the perimeter, can play some of that big slot role as well. I mentioned the 17.5 yards per catch. He had a long touchdown against Michigan. He's just been excellent for Ohio State. Scored again this past Saturday night against Indiana. Just a great player who I think deserves to be in the first 10 picks. In this scenario, he goes number 4.
Yeah, Francis Mauigoa, the right tackle from Miami, is a guy. I don't know where you're going to have him, but to watch him is entertaining.
Yeah,
and we go back and I even said
it won't be long, Mel.
When Joe Thomas was at Wisconsin Field, he was an entertaining guy to watch. They brought him in, and he was like the 3rd pick overall. So for Mauigoa, I think you look at a guy who would make sense here because with Shedeur Sanders, whose pocket is showing you some more maneuverability than a lot of people thought he had. We all thought he could move. Some people doubted that, but you can see the way he can move within the pocket. Actually had a rushing touchdown the other day. Bottom line is, when you have that type of quarterback and you have the accuracy and the arm strength that people question that he's shown, Carnell Tate would be a guy dependable, okay? Jerry Jeudy has had some drops, but he's got talent. We know that. Jerry Jeudy was a great player at Alabama, first-round pick, all that. Harold Fannin Jr. has been a really good rookie, tight end. Judkins and Sampson, 2 running backs, been really good, right? Sampson had the unfortunate fumble this past week. Bottom line is they've been really good. They catch the ball out of the backfield, Judkins, Wildcat, all that. Bottom line is the O-line is an issue. And that's an area where, with Shedeur, the O-line's got to get better, and they got to improve that talent base. That's why I think it's going to be that debate. You look at the number 1 receiver. If it ends up being Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson's had the injuries, but he would have been there. He may still well be there.
He could be there.
Tyson's a really good player. I love Mekhi Lemon at USC as a slot guy. But I think when you look at Mauigoa from Miami, destructive run blocker, good in pass pro. I mean, you just lock him in, you put him out there and say, hey, we're good to go at that spot. We got a Pro Bowl caliber player. So when you got Shedeur showing what he's shown, and that was the only thing this past weekend that made me happy. Ravens, Notre Dame, then Shedeur. Thank you, Shedeur.
No, the committee let you down, not Notre Dame. Yeah, the committee let you down.
Yeah, it's something to smile about. But in terms of the offensive line, I think it's going to be the debate field. Do we go offensive tackle or do we go wide receiver in Cleveland?
Now, you heard what the guys was talking about, and I totally agree with him, man. Shedeur is not the problem. The problem is the team. It's other holes that you need to fill. You need to get that offensive line, retooled, Mauigoa, like he said, out of Miami, a run blocker, destructive, a great pass blocker, and then Carnell Tate. Emeka, he's in the NFL, and Carnell Tate has stepped up. Carnell Tate putting up big numbers. You saw what he did against Indiana, even though they lost the game, but you saw what he did with against Indiana. You know, that's a wide receiver. Like they said, a big catch radius. You know, 6'3", 190, big catch radius. Ain't dropped no balls this year. So everybody wants to put this evaluation on Shedeur Sanders. You need to put the evaluation on the offensive line and the other positions out there. You got to look at it. This rookie class that the Cleveland Browns have, like you said, in Harold Fannin Jr., Shedeur Sanders, Judkins, and guys like that, and Carson Schwarzenegger on the defensive end, you know what I'm saying? You just got to build around Shedeur. Cleveland got their quarterback. There's no reason to go nowhere else, man. In this draft, you got to go out and get the pieces that you need, and you need a wide receiver and an offensive lineman. You got to build, and whatever Deshaun Watson is going to do for this team, if you bring him back, you got to find a way to offload that contract. You got to find a way to package him up and get some pieces, man. Cleveland got to make moves, man. Shedeur Sanders is who you need as your quarterback. I know the haters don't want to hear that. The haters want, Francisco Mendoza. If you got the quarterback, it's still going to be the same because you didn't address the issues with the offensive line and your wide receivers. You got to have people around Shedeur Sanders because Shedeur Sanders has shown you what he's capable of doing if you just give him a little bit of time. He has a nice ball, and you heard what Mel Kiper said. A lot of people said he didn't have that mobility. Mel Kiper said, you've seen what he's done. A lot of people said he didn't have the arm strength. You've seen what he's done, man. Cleveland Browns are just a bad football team. You got your quarterback. You just need to build around them. I see everybody in the comment section, #salute. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.